What else, mi gente? It's your boy Almega, the most electrifying host in all of geekdom. Back at you with a very special Comic Crusaders show straight out of that Geekfest Film Fest Year 12 celebration we're doing this year. Big shout out to my man, Big O, Billo. Now, let me tell you right here. Today we have got an absolute powerhouse in the building. All right? An actor, producer, a founding member of the legendary 5'2" and Under Club. I got to find out about this. All right. We're going to be diving into her fiery new film called Burned, Whereby Fuego, and getting the inside scoop on her amazing journey as well. So strap in, smash that like button, and let's light this episode up like a bonfire of geek glory, baby, as we introduce the one, the only, the legend, the Paula Rhodes, baby. How you doing?
Hi, I'm so good. Thank you for that intro, Al. Holy cow. It's like audio caffeine. I love it.
Let's go, because you are a boss, and I'm happy to have you here. And again, big shout out to GeekFest Film Fest for like blessing me to speak with so many talented individuals in the film world. And I mean, you're smashing it. You've been doing your thing for a minute, and then you're doing your thing on the side, and you're here now, hanging out amongst the geeks, amongst the common folk. I love it.
I love it. I went to Comic-Con before. I was doing panels there, so it feels like a very natural progression level.
Fantastic. I dig it. So for those that are unaware, I love you, my good old origin story. Let them know where you're originally from, and most importantly, what was the first thing in all of fandom that you personally ever fell in love with?
Oh gosh. Oh, there's so many. Hello. Long ago, because I'm a vampire who doesn't age. I was born in Deer Lodge, Montana, which is a teeny tiny little town. I subsequently escaped with my family, and we ran around the country, I guess, doing a slow national tour. Most of my growing up happened in St. Louis, Missouri, and then I went to University of Missouri, where I majored in journalism and advertising, and then entered a pageant as a joke one time to amuse my friends. A beauty pageant. I am all of 5 feet tall, so this was really just comedic relief. However, I ended up winning the state one, and I went to the national, and I won the national. So it was very funny to just hear my dad utter the words "what" when they named me and put that on.
You know what it is? Listen, it's an unspoken thing, but we men and guys, I know for this for a fact. As a New Yorker, like when we use this term, it is actually because that's what we feel. We love our shorties.
I bring that to the table for sure.
We love our shorties, man.
Going to New York and doing internships for some of the judges there, and really learned the business side of things, where becoming a storyteller, an actor, a creator became a lot less of a pipe dream. And I realized I could do this. So I moved out to New York, and then slowly, since I couldn't.
Where in New York you stood though? Because I'm a Brooklyn boy, so where you grew up? Where you stood at?
I spent about 3 years in New York, but most of the time I was living in Jersey City right across the way, because I was a very poor 20-year-old coming in every day.
Yo, listen, I hear you. Jersey City way cheaper than Brooklyn, Queens.
But it was amazing and such a great experience to start off there.
That's dope.
And I probably would have stayed had I any of Christian Chenoweth's singing and dancing skills, but I did not. So I kept getting told I looked or sounded like her, and my comedy was like her, but I couldn't sing. So I kept getting sent to LA for auditions, and then some of those started to really click, and I came out here, and sure enough, I could make a living doing this weird thing that I love. And lately, I've really been leaning into and embracing being a storyteller on the director's side and writer's side too. So here I am with my latest film, Burned, and I am so excited to bring this to audiences. It is a wild ride that came, I guess, directly from a dream where I was introducing a dream where my film where the witches burned back. And here we are.
Really?
I did.
All right, wait a minute. So two things first I want to know.
Okay.
You won a pageant being a 5 foot cutie shorty. So, like, I mean, that goes against the grain, because normally it's tall as women that win, not for nothing. So, I mean, how did that even feel? Like, yo, all right, so I don't have to be a certain height to be considered, right? You know, like.
It was
They always tell
surprising.
you, like even as a man, you know, oh, I gotta be 6. No, I'm
Uh,
5'7". I'm not 6 foot tall, but I'm taller than most women.
no, it was wild. I think also because I wasn't taking it so desperately seriously. I was there to have fun and kind of amuse myself, my friends, and really just have a good time. I think that took a lot of the pressure off me that naturally comes with any sort of competition. And I mean, I was in like a my old prom dress. I had glued a shoe back together right beforehand for the first
Oh
time.
my gosh.
Wasn't really putting in the effort that I feel bad that a lot of people really do.
So it was you really went with an I don't give a F type of like, hey, I'm just here, I'm having a good ass time. Whatever happens,
No,
c'est la vie.
it was very much just a I guess a acceptance for my ridiculous humor, and I
I
love that it
love
could
it.
stand as some sort of hope for those of us out there
And
that
it
really just want to
backfired
be
on you because
ourselves.
you won. Your
Yeah,
joke
but it was good.
backfired because you won. Oh my
I
gosh.
know, and here I am all these many years redacted later, still doing this thing. So no, I
So
love it.
so diving into those, you know, the grind, right? What were kind
Yeah,
of the biggest challenges you faced in breaking into the industry? Because you know, talking about that traveling and all, and especially
yeah.
as a woman covering out her leg. Because again, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I'm a daughter. I have a daughter. I'm married to a beautiful woman. You know, I have a powerful ass mom. So I've always been surrounded by strong women. So for me, like, there's something that as a Puerto Rican, I've been around all my life,
Mhm.
right? And I
I
see how the culture does it. Like the culture nowadays here in the States, at least, there's like a new thing to them. Like, no, it's always
I
been
know. We're just
existed.
catching up here.
But how did you navigate? How did you navigate all this during that time?
I mean, it is very interesting in that the entertainment industry as a whole is not a ladder, right? It's not like a lot of other things where if you want to be a teacher, there are steps to follow and you go up the ladder and then you will get to your destination of being a teacher.
Absolutely.
It is not the same. I liken it to a jungle for which you bring your own machete
Oh
and you
shit.
carve your own path, and you're never guaranteed to get to any particular destination, but as long as you're there for the journey, you're in the right place.
Sometimes you find the pyramid, and sometimes you don't,
Right,
huh?
it can be amazing, but you can't really go into it thinking I have to be this or I have to win this award. It really mental health wise, at least my journey anyway has been to really embrace the path that you're on, that you find ahead of you, the next step that you can't predict that happens to open up or that you make open up with your own work, has been a lot more advantageous, I guess, than just waiting for that phone to ring for me. I did when I started getting into rooms to pitch things, start to notice a little bit of the pat on the head, like don't take on too many roles sort of thing. If I were saying I were going to play a role as well as write a role or as well as direct, and it's only recently that a lot of those ceilings have been broken and it's a lot more embraced. I mean, things like Quinta Brunson and Natasha Leone, so many other amazing creators who wear so many hats.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're doing it. We are showing
Agreed.
people that we're great at multitasking, and that some brains just kind of work on multiple levels
But you know
anyway.
what kills me? You know what
What?
kills me? Again, not trying to come off sexist and all, but they always try to tell men that we can multitask. Yet I've spoken to so many men that are multitaskers, right?
Yeah,
But
I
I
think it's
know that
not
women can
gender
multitask because
specific.
again, my mom is nuts. Holy shit! You know, I love you, mom. But man, because she multitasks like I was a motherfucker. And again, I don't
I
think
think it's
that's
just
gender
individual
specific.
specific.
Yeah, I think
No,
exactly. That's what I kind of want to sell that and trying to get at. Like it is
absolutely.
individual. So you seem to have this drive. So how did all those moments in this
Of hitting
journey of
3
yours
times,
so
yes.
far shape the way you approach roles and projects now?
Uh, I will say probably age shapes it more than almost anything, right? Because you start to realize that in a weird way, it's sort of your immortality. It's what you're going to leave behind. So you do have a little more care with the projects that you accept, with what you pursue. Um, there is some acceptance to all the areas that you can't control, and yet some empowerment in that you can take up the mantle and tell your own stories too, which is what I've done here with Burned, which is a wild ride. I can take you
Oh,
on that
oh,
if you'd
we're
like to
gonna
hear
get into that. Don't you wait, folks. She's dying to talk about this, and I
Oh my
love it.
gosh,
We got
it's
it.
so wild.
We got to marinate. We got to learn a little bit more first, because yeah, this woman has been doing her thing, and I want you guys to understand where she's coming from before we get into the greatness of what this flick is and why this will be a Geek Fest favorite. Trust, all right. So with that, like, when it came to your acting journey, before we get into your producer hat journey, all right, and then the fight
I
two
love it.
journey and all that, um, uh, kind of like, what was the biggest challenge in your acting journey that you faced, and how did you overcome it?
I think we're constantly facing that one, right? Because when you're just an actor, you don't get to say yes. You can say no sometimes, but you don't get to actually give yourself that yes. So you're hoping for other people to say yes to you and cast you in something. So that is, you're constantly facing a new journey of potential rejection, of potential acceptance, and what doors that can open.
Just potential, potential
Right.
something.
So it is an ever hopeful roller coaster that as long as you learn to traverse the low sides, the highs can be so fun. But there are definitely going to be downsides. So figure out your own methodology for getting through those. Often for me, it's creating something clearly, and those can open up even more doors and lead to more of the highs.
So let's get into that creating. When did you start navigating from the actor and started saying, "Hey, I feel like I want to start producing alongside acting"? You know,
it was probably, I believe it was 2007. So I had moved out here to LA, and I had a roommate that had won the 48-hour film fest the year before and was like, let's just
that's heavy. They won the 48 hours. That shit ain't easy.
And they were like, well, let's do it again. And I was like, okay, I mean, why not? I'm living here. And then I realized I'm just somebody who naturally helps and takes on stuff wherever I can. I love connecting people where I can be like, oh, I know somebody who's great at that.
Are you a Taurus? Are you like me? What are you?
No,
I'm talking to a twin.
Fiery.
Hey.
Yes. But I loved that part of it. And I started to kind of just realize naturally, like, oh, I'm producing. But because you are sort of a parent of a set, you're making it happen. You're getting people dressed and fed and clothes, like makeup and everything on time. And you're putting your team together and you're delivering a project. So in that sense, I was like, this is just a very natural fit for how my brain works. And it was many years later before my dear friend and my producer on Bruned, America Young, finally had to look at me and be like, why don't you cut together a director's reel? And I was like, well, I haven't directed anything. And she was like, she starts listing the things that I directed or co-directed. And I'm like, oh, I guess I have. But really I had done it sort of out of like not being able to hire somebody else to do it for a project that I was helping to produce or make.
You do out of need, not realizing you're fulfilling a role. And it's things that people tell me all the time. I produced over 600 of my own podcasts, 1,200 other people's podcasts. So I said, but when people say, "Hey, you've done this, that," and you look back, I'm like, "Oh shit!"
It was such a wonderful view of like, actually, you're right. I can do this. I had literally made a feature film while I was pregnant with my husband and I as the two leads, as well as the entire crew that had won Dances with Film's Audience Choice Award.
Hey,
it's called Delicate State, streaming everywhere now.
Oh, Paula gonna be playing even pregnancy getting that shit done.
That was sort of out of necessity because I felt like worried that I wasn't going to be working. And that was a big part of who I was. So my husband was like, why don't you just make a movie? And I was like, oh, well, then
a salute to your hubby, man, for like cheerleading you. Yeah, man.
He might have regretted it because I definitely made him coming along for 50%. But no, he had a good time.
He experienced the pregnancy in whole with you.
Oh, yeah, all of it. And so it was really empowering to hear somebody else point that out for me. And then to really fully embrace that at this stage in life and be like, no, this is absolutely what I love to do now. And I am really good at it. And I do know all of these different hats. I've worn so many of the hats on any given crew at a time that I appreciate each of them, that I know how to treat my crew what they need to deliver their best for me. And I know that if you treat people well, they tend to really go above and beyond for you.
But so the language comes better from experience, though. Language comes from experience. And when you can relate through the work, this is why I believe everybody, when you're an entrepreneur, please wear every hat and build with every hat. So that way, when you bring in people, you know what to do.
Absolutely. You know what's expected of them and what they should be delivering. And if they're going above, you can recognize that and praise it. Yeah. If they're not, they're not. Like, it's just such a key piece of information that I'm thankful to have had. And I will say, being a shorter lady, I don't have the leadership style that some, like, I guess, stereotypical directors from old Hollywood might have had of being like a.
I think that's only in the USA, right? Because listen, man, it's so Puerto Rican ladies that run the country over there. You know what I mean?
I have to win people over by motivation. So they're not working for me because of fear. They're working because they know me, they respect me, they like me, right? Because it's through love. It's through being a team.
And I'd rather have that than fear. I mean, most people may not agree with me there, but I'd rather have some love.
Over half agree with you and I. It's just some of them need the fear, but I don't. And I really appreciate those who similarly like a team.
I want to talk about that because the short lady thing, the 5'2" and under club. I gotta ask, how did this start, and what's that vibe? What's popping?
So I guess that came about because I'd gotten together a group of ladies at one point to brainstorm making web series, right when web series were really starting to pop out and come around. And we were being made fun of for like, oh, you're doing web television. But we were getting funding from these brands and working with these really great things. And we had award shows.
Yeah, we're getting funding. That's right.
It was kind of amazing. So we brought together this group of women. And then I kind of looked around the room and realized these were people I'd connected with at networking things because they were all the same height.
Yeah, well, eye level.
Right. And I was like, hang on, who's the tallest one? And she was like 5'2". I'm like, guys, I think we have a 5'2" and under club. The rules are you have to be done growing and be 5'2" or under. It's very exclusive.
I love this.
Yeah, because it's sort of, tongue in cheek, a little bit.
Where's the speed dating event for the single ones, please? Let's go. Yeah, but I love it. All right. I dig it. So let's talk about that leap of faith. Mm-hmm. What was the scariest but most rewarding decision you've ever made in your career?
Parenthood. I would guess actually deciding to become a mother was both terrifying because it changes you physically, schedule-wise, every single bit of your DNA changes.
That's who you are. It does. Again, I was married 25 years. Shout out to my ex.
And you said you have a daughter. Like, it changes you. So knowing that was something that I wanted in my life, but I was terrified of what it would do to my career, which was a big...
As you're building something, exactly, yeah.
I think that was a big leap of faith where I had to realize, like, it's going to change me, but it might change me to something even more amazing. I had to embrace the level up of it. And it does in a wild way because it takes you from talking to just... often the fellow actors on set to suddenly you're connecting with the producers and the directors and everybody else because they're also parents. So you're connecting on a new human level with all sorts of other people. And I think that only adds a depth and a humanity to projects I'm a part of, to projects I spearhead, and to just life in general. So I'm very thankful to that and that I was able to choose it, that I had support in doing it, and that I continue to have these two goofy little boys color my existence.
Oh man, and future actors, of course, the future films. So let's see now, folks, it is time. We'll be introducing the Bruned trailer, and we're gonna be diving into everything Bruned now. Okay. So yeah, a big shout out again to my man Bill GeekFest Film Fest. It's that touring convention with again some of the coolest, most fiery independent shorts you will ever see. Trust me on these. I've seen and been a part of this for a couple years now. Again, Bill has allowed me to come into the world a bit and has shared with me. I'm like uber impressed, and I've been speaking to so much talent like yourself, and I'm just I can't even say I'm surprised. It's like what surprises me is like, why are you guys not making the features right now? What's popping?
I mean, we are sometimes, but these are our shorts, our babies that are getting out there to tell these particular tales.
Yep, and we need more people to see this. Folks, let's tease this right here. I'm adding this baby to the stage right now. Oh my God, we're about to dive into the trailer for Bruned, and then we're gonna talk a whole lot more. Let's go.
How do you feel about this whole thing?
Malleus Maleficarum?
The Hammer of Witches. Written in the 1480s by one Heinrich Kramer, responsible for the torture and deaths of around 100,000 people, mostly women.
Witches are far more sinister than your herbal healers would like you to think.
It was Heinrich who linked them to Lucifer. Hell of a rebrand.
You've seen him. No one can take him seriously.
Quiet! Just last night, she dared to conjure herself into my dreams again.
We can hardly blame women for the natural lust we have in ourselves.
He poured his frustration out into his Malleus Maleficarum.
I shall end you, witch.
When we are history, all will see your perversion and self-loathing for what it is.
And who is it that you think writes history?
How long do you think one hand can hold a quill?
Congratulations on being almost...
Hi.
What is going on there? Oh my God, folks! Did you see that, folks? You want to stay tuned. First of all, before we get into the conversation, please follow Paula on social media at Paula_Rhodes, and of course at Burned Movie. Get all of those deets. And of course, follow my big homie GeekFest Film Fest website at geekfestla.com so you can stay tuned as to where they will be going next. So you could make sure to check out and vote for this. Because my gosh, I think when she said she was a geek, big shout out to Danny that's peeping. When she was saying, so that she's a geek, I think she really is showing off a geek card right here. My gosh.
I think
so.
My screensaver on my phone is one of the last unicorn. So I mean, I've been around for a while.
Oh my God. So for those that are unawares, how would you pitch Burned in one fiery sentence?
Oh, okay. So Burned is the overdue film where the witches burn back. It is taking back the narrative on the Malleus Maleficarum, a book that burned over 100,000 women as witches, essentially. But it was just a rage post. It was just a rage post by a troll, and it was not taken seriously at its time. And so it is high time that we take back that narrative and laugh a little bit at one of the early trolls.
Oh my gosh, wait a minute. So this is some real deal shit.
This is a true story. An actual book. You can still get this book, the Malleus Maleficarum. It was only outsold by the Bible for over 300 years. And it was what he wrote after he couldn't get one woman convicted and killed as a witch in his beginning days. And then after he died, because it was in print and had been, written by a priest, it was kind of taken super seriously by a certain circle and spiraled. And then, 300 plus years later, you have over 100,000 people who were identified as witches and murdered because
Holy smokes. That needs to be a movie. Holy crap.
Hello, I think so.
Hey. Paula is building this universe. Yeah.
I literally heard about the Malleus Maleficarum in a podcast. So shout out to podcasts.
Okay.
An amazing one called Witch on the BBC. And I was like, oh my gosh, how have I not heard of this before? And I posted something about this ridiculous rage post that led to all these deaths. I mean, parallels abound. We need some media literacy now, right? To ask people why somebody writes something is kind of a huge part of media literacy. So I posted this, and I had a witchy friend who I didn't even realize was witchy, was like, you're going to make a movie about this. And I was like, well, I mean, that would be lovely, but I don't really have the budget for 1485 Austria. And she was like, you're going to do it. And then that night I had a dream where I was introducing my film Where the Witches Burn Back, standing next to my friend America Young. And I watched it on the screen. I saw these faces. I woke up and I wrote down kind of the outline for it. Like, what did I just dream? And then I ended up writing the script. I went to a convention to sign because I'm a voice actor. I voiced a number of Resident Evil villains and some cool stuff. And I was sitting next to Julian Richings, who was death and supernatural. And he has such a glorious face and he's such an amazing human. And I kept staring at this man. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, Julian. I think you were in my dream. And he was like, I don't usually hear that. And I was like, you were the villain, though. And he was like, I do hear that. And then we went to dinner and we chatted about it.
Like, wait a minute, I'm married, first of all, and you were the bad guy.
We chatted about it. He's just so wonderful. And he was like, we have to make this. And his excitement really led me to reach out to Cissy Jones, who's a BAFTA-winning voice actor who plays my head librarian, Sybil, in this. And I was like, can we meet? And I gave her this whole little pitch in an Instagram DM. And it was, we weren't directly friends. We were had similar friends in common, but I knew this was going to her junk box. I was like, there's no way she's going to see this. And within seconds, she wrote me back. I was like, I have chills. I'm sitting on the couch talking to my husband about the Malleus Maleficarum. She goes, also, I'm a witch and I need to make this film. And I was like, okay.
You're like, oh my gosh, you blind.
So I don't want to say it was easy. It is never easy to film make or make these little film babies of ours, but it was easier than most because all these dominoes kept aligning. And I had, amazing BAFTA nominees like Neil Newbin from Baldur's Gate and Yuri Lowenthal for Spider-Man himself come on and be like, yeah, let's do it. I love this. And each of the animated portions are the actors themselves posed for them in the shot, to match the shot that I had in my mind that I'd sent them. And then the animator drew it to their likeness. So it was such an incredibly cool, historically accurate, because we had a historical consultant who came on and got me pictures of wardrobe and Yeah, from actual historic, from universities in Austria, because there was an emperor crowned 10 years after this. And so they had all of these tapestries and books and paintings of actual people then. So I was able to keep it super realistic, and it was, or, true to the time. And it was so cool to actually like hear about and see letters from the court documents of this trial where he's trying to say these horribly inappropriate things, and the bishop has to be like, has to go out and call a recess at, and have lunch early, and then get another lawyer to call a mistrial because he's like, this guy's bonkers. And he was such a joke in his time, and yet Heinrich Kramer left this little rage post called Malleus Maleficarum, and it affected so many lives. Like, there's literally a little portion in there where it talks about how women are going around collecting male genitalia and putting in a nest and feeding them oats, and yet this was taken seriously enough to kill people. It was I thought,
I mean, did anyone that lost their genitalia and that they were concerned? You know what I'm saying? I would have heard like, yo, do you know anyone that lost their Johnson somewhere?
Oh
Like,
yeah, I think Agatha's feeding it like oats down in this nest.
like, the squirrels are on that
Oh my
John.
stars. So I mean, the parallel
man,
isn't lost on
insane.
me. How ridiculous, some
That's
people,
insane.
some people can be fueled.
But that's
in
the
this
time, fear, and wow.
At all times, this one too.
I gotta,
right?
I
Fear still
gotta
drives
watch
people.
this full film. I have to sit down and watch it. I can't. Bill, when you're coming through the East Coast, you're killing me. He stays in the West right now.
Right. Well, we have some.
He tells me, come to LA, pay for my flight, and I go to LA. All right. Anyway, so when it came to Burn, talk about them roles, and your role, if you will, and like you need to tell the story the way you did it.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, there was this whole, issue of how am I going to afford doing a period piece in 1485 Austria? And America Young had this amazing, brilliant moment where she was like, well, what if you did it animated? And I was like, well, that's great. We do know a ton of voice actors, but animation is actually more expensive than live action. And we thought for a second, and she was like, well, what about motion graphic animation? And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. We actually know a ton of comic creators, which is actually relatively affordable compared to regular animation. And it made it suddenly doable because we knew we could create a really wonderful radio play to support it with all these great voices, and Rob Paget, our sound designer and composer's amazing world that he built around it. And we just needed the beautiful visuals that Zach Finfrock was able to provide for us. So
how did you find Zach? Talk about that journey. Because are you a comic book fan? Originally, or a comic art fan? Because there's differences.
Yeah, there are. I have some comics that I dearly have loved, but in this case, I knew Zach from the web series world because he had worked on a series I did, long ago. I think it was a Zelda fan series.
Zelda,
I know, so we'd run in similar circles in there, and I knew he was an animator, and he had some styles that I was like, this would work because it looks like he can draw to an actual face, and I'd love to use the actual actors' likenesses for this. And so I reached out, we went to lunch, and we chatted about it, and he was game, and it just ended up being so wonderful to work through this and be creative with him, and that I'd kind of sketch out my bad layout of what I wanted the shot to look like and where it would move. And then he would make
stick figures.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I a little slightly more detailed, but mostly.
Hey, I'm a stick figure man. That's what you getting from me, shit.
And then he would make really cool, like blue placeholder people that we can move, and then the backgrounds that would be historically accurate to the buildings that have been around at the time in architecture. And then we'd tweak those with our historical consultant. We'd take the drawings from the actors, or from the images of the actors and their poses, whatever it might be, and then he would draw over them, and we'd add.
Man, that must have been fun. So wait, who was doing the photography for the poses? How was that experience like?
Oh, that's hilarious, because some of it would be because these actors are all over the world, right? So a lot of times it would be me. There's a whole string of me doing every pose in this film, like whatever it is.
Oh, really?
And then I would send that to them in their list of photos to complete. They'd send back to me pictures.
Yeah.
And then I would pick my selects, and I'd put it in a document with the costume and the hairstyle that was approved and stuff for Zach. And then he would combine it all. And if there were any tweaks needed, we'd do that. If I was like, oh, hair needs to be longer. Let's make the sleeves, this length instead. Let's add this pattern. So yeah, it was a really cool, unique process that brought this to life and made it as historically accurate.
I did that because you're saying this is like worldwide. I mean, time wise, time consumption wise, like how long did it take for you guys, being that you guys are so spread out, to put this baby together?
Not that long, which was incredibly impressive. So I think we finished funding at the end of February last year, and then we had a final cut by, I want to say, the 1st of September to start submitting. So that wasn't too long. We had 1 day of shooting. We edited pretty quickly that, and then we're working on the animated portion and color correction and music and stuff after that.
Hey.
And it just all came together. So really only not even 6 months really when it was all said and done from the time we got the funding and started getting everything up and scheduling until we had a finished product.
So music is always important as well. I'm a music fan.
Yes.
Soundtracks people love. I mean, what was that also possible? Was that something new to you as well, and selecting a soundtrack for your baby here now?
I knew that it definitely needed music because it's such a key part of, affecting people's emotions. And yet I have some amazing composers that I've worked with. So I have the luxury of being able to kind of pick and choose. In this case,
You had a network
went
already
to-
built in. Love it.
right?
Yeah.
I went to Rob Paget, who is such an amazing, multi-talented human in that he was an actor for us. He was our composer. He was our sound designer and our editor and color correctionist and all. So he did so many different things on this film. He's a one-person studio. He has his own feature film out now called Merry Heistmas, which is playing the festival circuit. And
Nice.
he was really fun to collaborate with, as he always is, where I could be like, okay, so I want the first part with the live action to feel a little bit Never-Ending Story meets Princess Bride, some darkness to it, some witchiness. Here's some music that kind of inspired me. And then he would come back with something, and I'd be like, great. And now add in this podcast that inspired me. We're going to have a little clip of something like that. So in that zone, and he would just create these things that were so magic and exactly what we needed to tell the story. So I'm excited for people to hear it.
All right. So talking about that, then that fan connection, right? How do you hope audiences will feel after watching Bruned?
Oh, I hope she infotains the hell out of you. I hope it's live, right? Like, it's, first of all, it should be entertaining, and like you should walk away with it like, oh my god, I had no idea. I had no
Well,
idea.
you're schooling the shit out of me right now. Like,
Right?
I'm
Like,
salivating. I
there's
cannot
so much
wait to
history
marry
out
in this
there
film.
that we don't know. So I think it's really important to take that narrative back when we can, and to put this tiny bit of justice out into the world for all those people that did suffer at the hands of this book, and to maybe stand as a really important reminder in today's world of how important media literacy, questioning why someone puts something out there, what their motivation might be, before you just blindly accept it. I think it's really important lesson then and now.
Yeah, definitely don't be blind, and follow up.
Yeah.
Research, learn. Don't take one source. I feel you on that one. Oof, 100. That's always been my life, and people think I'm crazy. No, I'm not. It's like I cannot blindly follow. I refuse to. I'm Puerto Rican, but come on now, don't do that to me. So, definitely, talking about fans as well, and just how you want people maybe to feel.
Yeah, the fans are a part of this. We have a whole section of like 300 supporters that's called The Witches Who Burned Back, and they were the ones that helped us fund this and bring it to life. So they're put in the credits.
Have there been any reactions that like surprise you in the best way?
There have been a couple that fans, because it's just starting to get out there, right? It's played a few fests, so it has been some really wonderful things to hear. I mean, all people seem to have that reaction of like, I had no idea. I can't believe this is real. We don't learn about it. Coupled with that kind of magic tingle behind people's eyes, where you recognize that they're inspired on some level to tell their story. That I love so much. When I see something in them that sparks, it's like, how did you do this? Oh my gosh, I get why you did it. I wonder if I could do it. And to be able to look at people and say, yeah, you can. If you can do this, is I think one of the coolest parts of being able to get your stories out there and affect other people's hearts and minds.
Well, I'm really excited for the Rhodes verse. All right, for real.
Okay.
The Rhodes verse is like, looks like you going on some lanes here, girl. I can't wait. So I really definitely want to know here, what's one geeky passion or maybe guilty pleasure outside of acting and producing that fans might not even expect from you?
Oh, well, I can admit, I suppose, to one that my husband and I have taken up of late with America and some friends. We've become treasure hunters.
Treasure hunters. Oh man, what is it?
So not a, I mean, my
Nick
husband's a mad
Cage, like
bookie.
that.
He's
Still,
like
yeah, what's
coin
going
collector.
on?
Yeah, but no, we've gotten into actually kind of. There's a number of them out there, right? Of these things people have buried over time that are ongoing, and they're like puzzles to solve, and they're really exciting. And in a sense, they're really
I dig
an
that.
opportunity to take your kids out into the world and get them to the real treasure being the time together, right? And the exploration of these places. So in that sense, yeah, I guess treasure hunting is a new.
I'm about to say, you guys are
Yeah.
cosplaying as Indy and Lara Croft. What's going on here?
Yes, that would be amazing, actually. Often
Hey.
it's a lot less glamorous, but yes.
So let's talk about the point. I love the energy. You know, people already saw like you see her mind where it's going, and it's so comic bookish for us geeks, and it's right at the right lane with Geek Fest. I need to know, like, even outside of this, because you look like again an overdue film where the witches burn back, and you have fire for a lot. What's next for the Rhodes verse? Like any projects cooking that you could tease us with?
There's not too many that I can share exactly, but I do have some really cool stories in the works. I have an episode
Ooh.
of, let's see, NBC's St. Dennis Medical that will just be funny and fun coming out
Oh,
this fall.
nice. Check you out. Hey.
Yeah, right. And looks like I'm going to be in Orlando for Spooky Empire as part of the Monster High universe, because that was one of my early
Oh my God!
projects I got to be part of.
My daughter loved. Oh my!
Did you
My
love
daughter is a fanatic. As she was
Oh my
growing up,
gosh.
she's a early 2000s baby.
I love that. I
So
got to
she's
voice
a
a number of
Monster
those.
High girl. Yeah.
Oh,
Did
I
you
love
see
that.
the Elvira Monster High figure? I saw it at San
Yes.
Diego.
She's
My boy
gorgeous.
Clive CX, shout out. He's gonna interview Elvira this coming Saturday here in Massachusetts. Yeah.
Matilda's
I
so
gotta
good.
tell him to ask her a question for me about that Monster High figure because she looks beautiful.
I love it. Yeah. No, it's geekdom is such a weird and wonderful part of my life and always has been. So I kind of love being able to introduce my kids to all these fandoms and see what really takes off with them. I feel like lately we've done a lot of Godzilla hunting because my youngest is like obsessed with
Godzilla.
all things Godzilla.
Please do not find a real Godzilla. You know,
I
folks,
hope
if we get a
No
kaiju,
kaiju.
we know who to blame.
No,
All right?
no, don't do it. But no,
Tell your
it's
kids not to touch that damn egg, all right?
but it's so fun to see their passions ignite into and attach to different things that they're really into too.
Yo, Paul, I need to know here though, because again, I want to dive into your ambition, your
Okay.
passion. I love the power of manifestation. You get this. You say you're Aries. You dig me. You understand. If you had no limits,
Mhm.
what dream role or dream collaboration would you go after?
Oh,
Let's manifest.
gosh,
Let's
yes.
manifest.
I would absolutely love to be a part of the Star Wars universe. I mean, I would be an Ewok or anything. Bring it on. Let's do this. But
Ooh,
right, like
Ewok. You
as a
mentioned
voice,
that.
why? Because I'm tiny. But
Yeah,
I would say there is
yeah. The
a
perfect.
I
Yeah, the
let's
Fight Two
do
Club
it.
is all in there.
Absolutely. But I will say there is a story that I have that actually the script is done that America also worked with me on that is so dear to my heart that I would love to tell. But it is an epic dystopian female driven fantasy that really has a lot of literary tie-ins, and I love. I got to be a part of the New Adventures of Peter and Wendy as Wendy Darling for years, and so literary classics and bringing those to life is just
I
a
like-
sweet spot for me too. So if I can bring the last book to life, I hope to. So keep an eye out for that.
Hey, well, I like how you mentioned Peter and Wendy. I don't know if you're watching the new Alien Earth series.
Oh, I
but
know it's on my list.
heavy references to Peter Pan stuff going on in that. So yeah,
Amazing.
I think you're gonna dig it. But yeah, you're awesome. My God. So final
thank you,
question here,
Tia.
because I needed to go back making some dope films for us, and scoring more and finding amazing artists because the artistry on that looks amazing. The story sounds fantastic. You have just schooled the shit out of me. So after this, I'm really gonna start digging in. Like, yo, are you serious? Like, yo, and I cannot wait to watch this film now. Like, for real. Like, I'm anxious.
Oh, cool. I can't wait for you to.
What's your message to the Comic Crusaders Familia and the Geekfest fans tuning in right now on what's next? Like whether it's about moving and creating or watching a film, give them those words out there. This is your moment, Mama.
All right. I would tell all of you out there that those stories that inspire you, that are in your heart, that you dream about, those need to be told. They're important. And you have the power through the magic of story to actually change the world, to change hearts, and then via that magic, change minds. And we could use quite a bit of mind changing right about now. So I really hope so many of you get out there and start changing hearts to change minds and start bringing that magic and that kindness and that empathy and that just world building to life. Because if any of us can do this, you can too. So I hope you do.
You hear that? Just get it done, folks. Don't be playing. Don't be scared. And just make it happen. I wasn't. I thought
Never
I'm
been a
doing.
better
I'm
time.
talking.
You have the studio in your pocket.
Oh yeah, and you're not lying. Like this has more technology than the first spaceship that apparently landed on the moon. If that happened,
Absolutely.
I don't know. Some people say no, some people say yes. But regardless, this has more tech than that. So we make it happen. We'll be on the moon, right? The next Paula Rhodes movie will be filmed on location on the moon, and we're gonna make it happen, right? Come on.
Awesome.
We manifest.
Let's do it.
This is the road burst, baby. We're gonna make everything. You with the witches, so you got the magic. Come on.
No, there's no small part of that is not true. I mean, across every culture, right? What is a witch or what is a spell but a prayer? It's that ability to put things out there and to bring things that just started as an idea, as a spark in a brain, to life. And we probably have a lot more ability than you think.
No, yeah, and again, study yourselves, folks. I think this is absolutely right, and maybe look into that. I'll say no more. I don't want to get banned because I'm selling you about the powers within. We're selling you on that. Come on now, it's the Rose verse, it's the Crusader verse, it's the GeekFest verse, folks. Is what I'm telling you. So one last time, please, show some love to my homegirl Paula right here at social media on Paula_Rhodes, and of course, Bruned movie. Listen, you heard her. Ask those questions about this. Inquire for real. This is dope. And if any other podcasters are listening, I think especially those that are. I know some of y'all into this witchy stuff. Like I think y'all even be crazier talking to her because she got some bochincha that I'm just scared to talk about. I believe in that stuff. Don't be scaring me. I have a cross on right now. I'm holding on for dear life.
Don't be scared. You got this.
And then, of course, the GeekFest Film Fest website right there. Check them out so you can find out where you can watch Paula's movie and everybody else's too. I'm finding a favorite here, especially with this story. I can't wait to tune in. I'm gonna send you an email on the side. Don't make me travel. I can't. I
okay, all right, fine.
Bill, you heard her. You gotta pay for me right now. All right, Mega gotta be in the building. Make it happen, bro. Make it. I only play. But love you guys. Thank you, my Crusaders. Thank you, Paul, so much for your time. I definitely appreciate it. I'm a fan already, and I can't wait to see this and what the Rhodes verse is bringing on next. All right. Crusaders, stay tuned. It's GeekFest, it's Comic Crusaders, it's the Rose versus. Hasta la próxima. ¡Huepa!